Looking for a weight loss solution that actually works? Weight Loss by Hers provides access to GLP-1 medications with personalized care to help you hit your goals. Hers is transforming women's healthcare by providing access to affordable weight loss treatment plans delivered straight to your door if prescribed. Hers offers a holistic weight loss program with personalized solutions including compounded GLP-1 weekly injections featuring the same active ingredient as Ozempic and Wegovy or oral medication kits. So if you've been struggling with your weight loss journey, it's time to find the best option that works for you through Hers. Start your initial free online visit today at forhers.com/KKC. That's FORHERS.com/KKC for your personalized weight loss treatment options. forhers.com/KKC. Hers weight loss is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required, restrictions apply. Wegovy and Ozempic are not compounded. Actual price depends on product and plan purchased.
Rakuten is the smartest way to save money when you shop because you earn cash back at over 3,500 stores. Fashion, beauty, electronics, home essentials, travel, dining, concert tickets, and more. Your favorite stores like Lowe's, Levi's, and Nike pay Rakuten to send them shoppers. And Rakuten then passes on a part of that payment to its members as cash back. You're already shopping at your favorite stores. Why not save while you're doing it? It's a no-brainer. Membership is free and easy to sign up. Get the Rakuten app now and join the 17 million members who are already saving. Cashback rates change daily. See Rakuten.com for details. That's Rakuten. Your cash back really adds up.
The amazing Kate Casey.
Welcome back for another episode of Reality Life with Kate Casey, and welcome back for this most special Saturday series episode. In January, the Eaton and Palisades fires in Los Angeles left devastation in its wake. Entire neighborhoods decimated. Dozens of casualties after people either couldn't leave or chose not to flee their homes. Now, the damage assessments are still ongoing, but the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection estimates that more than 16,200 structures have been damaged or destroyed. What you did not know, perhaps, is that over 1,000 prisoners participated in the firefighting efforts for both of those fires. These prisoners were part of the Conservation Fire Camps program, which is run by the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation and works with California fire crews to remove vegetation and fuel from behind structures and constructed hand lines to protect homes. And these prisoners worked 24-hour shifts. At any given time, up to 30% of firefighters working in California are incarcerated. They work for little pay and often use outdated equipment, but many incarcerated people who are given this option to do so choose to join a conservation or fire camp because of a better everyday living condition. They receive looser visitation restrictions, and sometimes it results in reduced sentences. And it also provides them with the opportunity to see themselves out of prison, working alongside members of their community, building a skill, and providing hope. But they face barriers to employment once they are released from prison. They have a record, which many employers use as a reason not to hire them. California is one of at least 14 states that operates fire camps for incarcerated people to train to fight fires, and it has been an opportunity to serve the public as wildfires become increasingly urgent. Royal Ramey was born and raised in Southern California. He was an incarcerated firefighter for a few years, serving his time in California before being told that he would be transferred to Mississippi. For Royal, joining a fire camp was his way of returning home to California to be near his family while finishing his sentence. What he did not expect was that he would fall in love with firefighting, and that it would provide him with a career and the opportunity to be a community leader. He is the co-founder and chief program officer of the Forestry and Fire Recruitment Program, a nonprofit organization whose mission is to increase wildlife personnel from non-traditional and underrepresented communities, providing them with the training, skills, resources, and experiences needed to secure gainful employment. Royal oversees the organization's career training program, preparing participants for their personal and professional lives, and he's passionate about breaking barriers in the fire service. Aside from training, they're also assisting with job placements in the U.S. Forest Service, CAL FIRE, Bureau of Land Management, and other forestry agencies. And he regularly visits California conservation camps to discuss re-entry and the opportunities available to the incarcerated. I love a redemption story. Making amends for something wrong and then finding a way to use your story to build a new chapter, and in the process, train, support, and heal others. I hope that you're as inspired by Royal's story as I have. Here is my interview with Royal Ramey. Royal, I'm so excited to talk to you because I was really taken by your story. I was scrolling through social media early into the fires and came across some of the clips that you were in and was really taken by your story. And the more I read about it, I thought we are destined to be friends.
Right.
And I'm so grateful you're on my show today. So welcome.
Thank you for having me, Kate. I did a little research on you too, and you've been doing some great work. It's legit. So I'm excited to talk to you today.
Well, first, I want you to tell me a little bit about your personal story. Tell me about like where you grew up and your life before you were incarcerated.
I was born in Houston, Texas. When I was about 1 year old, my mom moved to LA, and we was in Compton, LA area for a little bit. And then when I was 8 years old, we actually, moved to the San Fernando Valley where I kind of grew up. So from 8 to 16, that's where I kind of got my, I just was in the streets a little bit, that's where I kind of grew into a young or adolescence to a young man and stuff. And then we I got into some trouble a little bit. It was a little firecracker. And my mom was like, you know what? This area is not pretty good for us. We need to go and move somewhere else. So I ended up moving to San Bernardino, which same thing, got into some trouble. And that's where I ended up going to prison.
And so when you went to prison, what was your immediate feeling? Because I'm trying to take myself back into that period of time, like what you must have felt like, but what your mom must have felt like when you're walking into prison. What's going through your head?
I don't know if I'm going to come back out alive. You hear a lot of the horror stories about, getting taken advantage of, people, punking you for your cornbread. You know what I'm saying? You get it's anxiety for sure, just not knowing because actually I wanted to tell you this too. Like my uncle actually passed away in Ironwood prison when I was in 8th grade. So that definitely scared my mom, and I always kind of had that in the back of my mind. Like if I were to come home, so I got sentenced to 6 years. Actually ended up doing 4 years, 8 months. And initially it was just like, man, I got to spend 4 years in prison here. It was definitely a scary kind of moment, especially when you're getting sentenced. Yeah, it was definitely traumatizing. But at the end of the day, I take accountability for the actions that the choices I made, and it landed me in prison. But obviously, what I'm doing now is definitely transcending, and it's been, talked about, and we could be able to, help folks out in the future when it comes to folks being incarcerated.
Well, when you were a little boy, what was your big dream for yourself? And had you ever even thought about what it may have been like to be a firefighter?
So the first question, I always saw that either in order for you to be successful in this world, from my vantage point at that time, was either you have to be an entertainer of some sort, or you have to be in the streets and a drug dealer. Like there was either two things that I didn't really see that, I didn't see Black lawyers and Black, doctors, and, I didn't see nothing that was really outside of that, other different occupations. So those are the two different pathways. And I actually wanted to play basketball, was really into that. But then my environment kind of shifted my paradigm in regards to just what the options I have for me. I'm 5'10", I weigh 165 pounds.
Yeah.
Playing basketball wasn't an option. So it was either that or, being in the streets. So that's where I kind of gravitated towards. And that's where it led me to a series of different, mistakes and led me into prison. But yeah, I remember seeing a lot of red engines though, just drive by. And I never seen nobody that looked like me. So that was something that I would never even think about doing because I just it wasn't something that, I identified with or in that nature.
So it really does mean a lot when you see somebody who looks like yourself doing a job. So at what point during your time in prison do you get the opportunity to get experience as a firefighter?
So California has a program, or California State Prison has a program called Fire Camp. And it's been around since the 1940s. Thousands of people have been through the program. And it's a volunteer program that allows folks to actually get trained and deployed to wildland fires. And then when you're not doing wildland fires, you're actually doing, fire prevention work, which consists of like brush clearing, weed abatement, wood chipping and all those type of sorts of activities. And I actually had the opportunity to go to fire camp in August of 2012. And I was actually around that time that I was sentenced. It was overcrowded in California where they utilize private prisons to house, folks that was sentenced to prison in California. And I was actually in Mississippi at the time. And I remember they do like an annual review every year to evaluate your points and like your level of custody. And I end up being eligible. I was a level 3 point, so I dropped down to level 2, and they pretty much asked if I wanted to go back to California and go to fire camp. And I'm like, the first thing that popped in my head was like, what the hell is fire camp, right? Like,
yeah,
I had no idea of what it meant. But I said, you know what, can I get some time to think about it? And it was like, okay, yeah, we can just come back tomorrow and just let me know your decision. So I went back to my cell, the cell living and talked to the folks that was there. And it was like, fire camp is cool. It's like it's dormitory living. You're not in the cell. You get better food. When you visit your family, it's like in a park-like setting. You have so many different amenities to it, right? So I was like, okay. And then obviously around that time when I got sentenced and I went to reception and then I got shipped to Arizona, then Mississippi, I didn't see my family for that amount of time. So I was like, you know what? Let me just get back to California and, at least see my family. I haven't seen them in like, a couple of years plus. So, and then I was like, man, people were saying it's legit. But when I got there, it was totally different of what I was actually expecting. And yeah, you fighting fires, right? Wildland fires. I'm a guy that I wear Nikes and Jordans and, getting these boots, trading those for the boots and getting his pack and his equipment and like getting his tool and like being on the front lines fighting fire was interesting. It was just like, it was something that I was like, man, like I didn't know folks really did this type of work. So, but as I continue to like, continue to like give it a try and just like make it work. Cause it was a couple of things like physically I wasn't really there because like this hiking, like like running and hiking is totally two different things.
Yes.
Or even doing push-ups and pull-ups and all that. Like that's totally different exercise, right? And so I had to get adjusted to it, but I end up like just loving it, and I love the challenge. And one of the things that I noticed, and I remember like when I first started out and I went on my couple of first fires, like folks, in the community was like, "Thank you, firefighters," and I'm like, I know I'm doing the work, but I'm, incarcerated, right? Like, so like, are they really talking to me? But then I realized like we actually doing the work. So like, I think I should be able to get that type of recognition. So, and that's when I started to think about myself as a firefighter. I'm like, man, what does it look like me transitioning to being a firefighter when I come home? And that's where my co-founder, Brendan Smith, and I got together and was like, we both love it. We want to do it and pursue it. It's like, how can we actually make that happen in the future? So, and that's when FFRP was pretty much born.
Behind the delivery trucks that keep your life stocked, thousands of employees at BP go to work every day. People bringing a new offshore production platform online. People making our refineries capable of more, like making renewable diesel from agricultural waste. People trading and shipping fuels to our customers. And people helping truckers fill up and get maintenance at our convenient locations. They're part of the more than 300,000 jobs BP supports across the country. Learn more at bp.com/investing in America.
DC, are you ready to start 2025 with incredible live entertainment at Capital One Arena? On February 22nd, comedy takes center stage with the hilarious Joe Coy. Then, on March 17th, feel the energy as Disturbed gets down with the sickness. On March 26th, it's all about the legendary Mary J. Blige bringing soul and power to the stage. And don't miss pop sensation Kylie Minogue on April 8th. Tickets are going fast. Secure yours now at CapitalOneArena.com.
So while you're part of this program and you start to think about your life outside of it, I'm assuming that there's a level of freedom that you can feel working. You're not only outdoors physically, but the emotional freedom of, I can see myself transitioning into a new chapter of my life. And as you're fighting these fires and you're hiking up the mountains, I'm assuming you spend a lot of time thinking about yourself and in your new life. How did you see yourself as a different man, changed because of prison?
Kate, that's a great question. When I first went to prison, I was already like self-evaluating myself and like reading self-help books like The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, the book called The Four Agreements. But one of the things that like really resonated with me was the 50th Law by 50 Cent and Robert Greene. And the book really talks about like fearlessness. And I think that's one of the things that I had to like be able to internalize, because I knew it was going to be an uphill battle, because there was a lot of whispers around if you could really transition into the fire service professionally. So, and I really just was like, I had to evaluate self and like, look, man, I really want to be a good person. I don't want to ever come back to prison. And I know that I have value, I have purpose. And I know that I can turn this negative situation into a positive. And it was really about me making that decision and being committed to excellence, or just realizing that the choices that I made, that I can do better personally as an individual. I can't speak for nobody else, but I really wanted to be a better person for myself and for my family and for the community. And I think that the biggest thing for me was like, how can I do that if I don't have no direction, I don't have no type of employment, right?
Yeah.
And but I fell in love with this fire thing. So I'm like, and that's where, like you said, walking on those hills, thinking about stuff like, how can I transition this experience to be able to have some type of employment where I have a passion, I have a love for it now that I had the opportunity to be able to, transition into the fire service professionally.
And that's a big leap when you go from somebody who is outside of the working world and you know that you have this stain on your resume and you have all the fearlessness and the heart required for someone to build a new business or a new organization. Mm-hmm. But the world is not moving at the same pace that you are. So you're released in 2014 and it takes 11 months for this to come into fruition. What in those 11 months is keeping you steady?
I just kept thinking like, I want this as bad as I want to breathe. There's nothing that's going to stop me to get to the level, or even if it took 5 to 10 years, I still was going to pursue firefighting. Like I just, when you fall in love with somebody, like your husband, like, it just, that's the person for you, and that's how I felt about, firefighting. And it just, just endurance, just knowing that I have faith and I have hope. And I feel like the momentum and like my energy was going to help me get to a place where I was just going to figure it out. Like, but in my mind, I just like told myself, like, I'm going to make it happen. And like, I don't care about the no's. I don't care about, or when people say no, I think yes. So like, I already, mm-hmm. Like, I don't care about none of that. Like, I'm just going to figure it out. Like, I was just set on it. And I'm like, I know there's going to be barriers. There's going to be people that's going to say things. People don't think that I'm not intelligent or smart, like they don't think that I sound crazy, but you just got to be really focused on that. And like, I'm a big believer in, and I know this might be different ideologies with people, but for me personally, I was like, I'm going to put all my eggs in this basket. Because if you put all your eggs in this basket, you can focus on that clearly. And you have a clear direction and goal. And eventually I felt like it was just going to happen.
So you really hyper fixated on it. And that was your superpower, was that you were super focused on the goal at hand. What was the reaction to this dream from firefighters, the firefighting community?
Yeah. You know, public service and prison usually don't mix. Um, I have a saying where I say like folks are looked at as zero because you're not contributing to society. You're away from your family. You can't, you getting told what to do every day. Like you're locked up, right? So, but then looked at as a hero, right? That's like a 180 like turn. So, a lot of folks, obviously, the stigma piece is real. Folks don't really like embrace it, right? But they do know, like the community, they do know that folks that go out and fight fires, that's folks that's incarcerated in fire camps, do good work. I think it's really more of a challenge where it comes to individuals being able to take it serious and knowing that it's a real true 80 of like being a public servant. And it's a lot that comes with that because a lot of folks that's being incarcerated have a lot of trauma, right? And then like, can you really be a firefighter? Like not only just the shift that you work in, but it's a 365 get down, right? So it's obviously the fire service as a whole is like, we are looked at as heroes. We looked at as folks that can be dependable, folks that can be able to, I had a woman give me their baby, right? When I was working for Cal Fire, like, and like, hey, the baby can't breathe. Can you do CPR, on the baby? Like just to trust, right? And it's very important that, obviously folks from the fire service understand that, but then also too, like folks that's been incarcerated understand the calling, right? And that's where FFRP comes in to help mentors, train or recruit, train, help them get employed, and then also help them and mentor them through those different phases of their career. And I think that's where it's always been like a tug of war with that. But knowing that they have that experience, but also understanding that they can be able to really like represent, right, in a manner where it all aligns with the fire service.
So when you're looking for candidates, what's going to jump out for you? What are you looking for in someone?
So first off, I want them to have that fire camp experience because if I know that you had that experience, and I know you've been through some stuff, right? Like you actually fought fire, you understand the cadence of getting up, and you understand the hard work it takes. But it's really a mental piece, right? Like I can teach anybody to be a firefighter, to be honest with you. Like, Kate, if you went to my program, I can give you the certifications. I can help you get physically fit, right? But it's the moral like value of like, if you really taking this serious, like, do you understand the opportunity that you have to be able to maybe being paroled with $200 when you came home to to be able to actually have a 6-figure career with benefits, retirement? Like, I want people to be good people. I want folks to understand the value of the opportunity that they have and knowing that they can actually can change their life. This is a transformative program that could put them in a position to be able to not only just affect their family and friends and themselves, but also the community and be a person that whether you Black, you Hispanic, you Caucasian, you Asian, like we have everybody in our organization that comes through, and it's like we want to provide you the opportunity to like win. So I really want folks to like take it serious, folks that really want it, folks that are passionate about teamwork, understand that it's gonna be struggles and challenges, and you got to be able to overcome it, and being emotionally intelligent, being mentally tough, being able to understand the physical ability for this job, and really like being able to really embrace the suck and knowing that like we need you to be able to be a role model. Like I want role models. I want folks to say, yeah, back in the day that person did make a mistake, but now this is somebody that I can depend on, a person that take accountability, a person that doesn't make excuses, folks that just accepting the responsibility as a a firefighter, a public servant, a community member, and a person that really wants to change their life.
I'm assuming too that in the moments in the hills that you see some emotional breakthroughs for people, right?
Yes.
I mean, you noted that a lot of people in prison have tremendous trauma. And so you're facing a fire, you're facing your own mortality should anything go wrong. You're facing the realization that you could save someone. There are all these added elements in the hills. What has that been like for you to be witness to people breaking through some real pain and moving into a place emotionally where they see the other side of life?
It's definitely interesting because you got folks from different backgrounds, different walks of life, right? And in prison, you have, segregation in there. They have their different, sections. And then when you go to fire camp, everybody come together. And it's amazing to see, where people come, like, the traumas that they have encountered, but then like being able to overcome those things and being able to express them too. Like a lot of folks know that like men normally don't really have those conversations and express like feelings and stuff, but it is moments where you can know, like a person's nervous and scared. Like it's been times where like I was in the streets and I'm like, I wasn't scared to get shot. I wasn't scared to be like, I wasn't nervous about certain things. But then when you get to a place where it's definitely the environment is different and like, you around people that you don't know really, but you're trying to build a camaraderie with and being able to have that teamwork and you really depend on them. Like you see different sides of folks and people maybe be a little bit more vulnerable just based off of the situation that is at hand. Yes, it's definitely interesting. And then you see more so like the biggest thing that I noticed in fire camp was like folks see that they're better side of themselves. They really do. Like, because when you in that buggy and you did a 24-hour shift and you coming back to fire camp, literally like the base, the base of the fire and stuff, like they have different ICPs and stuff like that. Like you see like those signs and it's like, man, like I've been the dark horse of my family forever, like for my whole life, right? I've been outcast from my family. I've been told that I wasn't good enough. I was told that, that I was a menace to society by this judge that sentenced me. Like, but these folks, the community say that I'm actually worthy. I'm actually doing something. I'm actually a firefighter, right? And I think that emotional trip, if folks like take that in, because I'm pretty sure some folks probably don't, but for the majority of folks, they do, and they really like embrace like you know what, like I can do something positive. I can contribute to society. I can be a community member. I can understand the value of doing right. Is really it's deep. It's really deep, and that's what I experienced myself personally, and that's when I fell in love, and I was like, you know what, like I have to make it happen. Like I gotta get this feeling again professionally. I gotta be that guy.
As you write your life story, you're far from finished. Are you looking to close the book on your job? Maybe turn a page in your career? Be continued at the Georgetown University School of Continuing Studies. Our professional master's degrees and certificates are designed to meet you where you are and take you where you want to go. At Georgetown SCS, the learning never stops, and neither do you. Write your next chapter. Be continued at scs.georgetown.edu/podcast.
If you're tired of endlessly scrolling through multiple streaming apps to find your favorite movies and shows, then it's time to simplify your entertainment with subscriptions on Prime Video. Now you can add over 100 subscriptions, including Max, Apple TV Plus, and Paramount Plus all in one app. Imagine the convenience of accessing all your favorite streaming subscriptions in your Prime Video account with just one login and one password. No more app switching or forgotten credentials. From binge-worthy original series to blockbuster movies and live sports, everything you love is at your fingertips. Streamline your streaming today. Check out add-on subscriptions on Prime Video.
With the Los Angeles fires, there were 1,000 prisoners that participated in this process of putting out the fires and helping community members. What do you want people to know about collectively 1,000 prisoners? Like, what do you want people to know?
That is very important for us to understand the power of redemption, mercy, and grace. I also want to know, like, tell the world and the people to know that just because you make one mistake in your life, or many mistakes in your life, that you're not a sum of that mistake. Like, you more than just that. I want to let folks know that it's important to have that conversation with people and see, to know a person, because you just don't know what they've actually been through. You know, I know that a lot of folks that I've encountered with throughout my life that's been in prison or being a part of the streets, that they probably had a real tough childhood, right? I just did a keynote speaking engagement up in Michigan, and I pretty much asked the whole audience to raise their hand if they chose their birthplace, if they chose their parents, if they chose the time they was born, they chose their race, their gender, like all these different things that when you was born, like, you didn't have a choice. So why are we so judgmental to people that we don't even know what's been going on in their life? You got folks that's been in foster care and being told certain things and been traumatized, and it's like, you really don't know until you really actually have conversations with people of how they were, like, raised. And you know, everybody say about the nature versus nurture thing. It's a real thing. And I think that we need to get above the race thing. We need to get above the decisions folks make, like, you know, and mistakes that they've made. Like, we need to give people opportunity. And one thing that it's a fun fact for everybody is that it costs $138,000 or approximately to house one person in California prison. And we spend a lot of money into you know, locking folks up, but what are we doing when post-release? Like, what are we doing to be able to protect our community? Because, like, when we give people the opportunity to get a family winning career, or even a job that can be that they love and have a passion for, then we don't have to worry about that person trying to run in our house or sell drugs or do things that maybe, you know, that's going to be detrimental to our society. And we got to look at things a little different. And I know that, you know, mass incarceration have played a big part and role in putting people in those positions. But, like, what can we do as a society to help folks elevate, grow, and deal with those traumas, so we can provide them opportunities to be able to be productive citizens of our great country that we have. So I think it's definitely things that we can do. I just think that the world needs to be able to understand the power of redemption, mercy, and grace, and being able to put those resources and funding behind programs like our like FFRPs, but also other programs that can be able to help folks transition post-release, because that's one of the biggest pieces around, you know, true rehabilitation.
I'm somebody who likes to believe that even in the darkest times, there's a little bit of light, and we have to hang on to the light, right?
Right.
And so here we have Los Angeles. You know, I don't live there, very far from there either. And you have neighborhoods decimated, and it's bleak for a moment in time, right? But it's an equalizer, because in those weeks, everybody's back at ground zero. Some people have lost everything that they have owned, and you have to look at each other and figure out how to rise up. How can we help one another and rise up? And that small sliver of brightness, I think, has been people being awakened to the role of these fire programs, and the realization that there are 1,000 prisoners, many of which who dream of walking out of prison and creating a whole new life that's not only of a benefit to themselves and their own immediate families, but their communities at large. And I think it's exceptional that you've used this life experience to move the ball forward for so many people. I just have great respect for what you've done. I really commend you on the work that you've done. Tell everybody a little bit about your program and how they could get involved.
Yeah, so our organization, so we are a career training nonprofit organization that equips folks that come out of California conservation camps, called fire camps, and also other marginalized communities for careers protecting the environment, and as community members as firefighters. And so we train about 100 people a year, 50 in the Bay Area, and then 50 in Southern California, or it could be in San Bernardino and LA. They get a paid stipend while they're they're going through the program. Depending on the time, it could be an 8 or 12-week program. Right now, we currently have a partnership with LA County, where we actually focusing on our new all women's cohort that we're supposed to be starting up.
Great.
Here on the 24th, and we finalizing some things. And they could definitely reach out to the organization by website, which is www.forestryfirerp.org. And I think it's a great program. And also we have wraparound services. I don't know if folks understand the importance of AB 2147, which Governor Gavin Newsom passed, came into effect January 1, 2021, which states that folks that actually served as folks that actually went and fought fire in fire camp, they actually have the ability to get their record expunged. So we help with those services with one of our partners, Legal Aid of Los Angeles. And we also have a social services piece where we can be able to help them with, just get a driver's license, help them, and also getting employment resumes, application process, getting them through all the things that they need in order for them to be successful. And we have a strong alumni network where folks can be able to, continue to get their, mentorship throughout their career, and just in more of a family kind of setting, and knowing that they can come to us if they need anything, and even talk about different issues and problems that they're dealing with. And we have a 300 person wait list, and it's been crazy this last month where we getting more bombarded with folks wanting to be able to be a part of the program, and we need the folks' support. We need, every dollar counts. We could definitely expand, but it's just a matter of folks being behind it. We've been in existence since 2018. I actually left Cal Fire with my co-founder, Brendan Smith. He was working with the Forest Service to start the program. We had a $500,000 grant from the board of the State of Community Corrections, and then Google.org gave us another $500,000 to start it up, and we've just been in the trenches ever since. And but one thing that I do want to say, though, that's very important is that so FFRP is an intersection between workforce development, criminal justice, and the climate crisis. So it's a triple threat, right? And it's a major labor shortage when it comes to wildland firefighting in California. And that's one of the reasons why the program actually exists in the first place. And at one point in time, when I was fighting fires, when I was incarcerated, incarcerated firefighters made a third of the workforce. So I think it's very important, for myself too, and everybody to understand the importance of the post-release, but knowing that what we're doing is in the eyes of Mrs. Harriet Tubman, we've been able to be the modern day Harriet Tubmans, to be able to bring folks to cross them over from what they experience and knowledge that they have. For them, they have that family-winning career.
Yeah. When you were a little boy, who was the poster on your wall?
Ooh, Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant. Think about this.
Guy.
There are going to be little boys now that have your poster on the wall now.
That honestly, I haven't even thought about that. Honestly, dang, man, you come on, you can't make me get emotional, man.
It's true. And they're not going to be just the people that were incarcerated who, you've given them hope for a new chapter, but it's going to be little kids who never thought of themselves maybe as a firefighter and now do so, or little kids who learn about being a firefighter and you're the picture, they're the person that they see. And there are also going to be kids that want to be someone who gives back to community is like a community leader, and they are going to look to you. And how you've changed your life around is pretty commendable and an inspiration to all people, including to me. So I'm really grateful for your time, and I'm wishing you great success. It looks like you're married now. You have a family?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Awesome. How many kids do you have?
I got 2 kids, 14 and 12. Wife, she's a nurse practitioner, doing her thing. I gotta sell life. Like it's just, got a house, San Bernardino County. Like, I got everything I want, man. I'm living a dream, honestly. But definitely like ups and downs and challenges, right? And just in everyday life. But I love what I'm doing. I'm excited about the future, and I just want to continue to do the good work and understand the importance of, like you said, family and community.
Where can people find the website, and where can people follow you on social media?
Yeah, so Instagram is royal.ramey, and then also FFRP _CA. LinkedIn, Royal Ramey as well. You can just search me up. The website is www.forestryfirerp.org. If I would love you to press that donate button, even $5 to $10, $20, all of it counts. We don't care. We appreciate everything that y'all contribute to the organization, because a lot is going to go towards, our mission, and our goal is to be able to help folks transition to the fire service professionally. So I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kate. Appreciate you.
The amazing Kate Casey.
I want to thank my fantastic guest, Royal Ramey, and remind you to make sure that you click subscribe, leave a 5-star review. Please join the Facebook group Reality Life with KKC. Bonus podcast episodes are available on Patreon and Apple Podcast, and you can also make sure that you are subscribed to the What to Watch list of what to watch every week in Unscripted TV by going to katecasey.substack.com. And please follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram at @KKCCA, TikTok, it's KKC, and Twitter, Threads, and Blue Sky at @KKC. Check back next week for all new episodes.
At Hotels.com, we know some travelers crave an ocean breeze. Others don't want to deal with sand. And oftentimes, those two people end up together. Compare properties side by side to find yourself poolside, oceanside, and still in a relationship. Find your perfect somewhere with Hotels.com.